Okay, so I'm going to mock out a store card now. If we look on the actual Costa website, they have a top row which has the name, a middle row which has the address. We're not going to add the miles on, but we are going to have an open time on there along with rendering out these icons, which is the click and collect and the delivery like so. So if I define the top row first of all, so top row, this is going to be a div within the container that gets closed off. What I'm going to render in this top row is a H3 that will contain the name. So I will pass this prop down to the store card. So the name is the first thing that I will pass down. The second thing, I'm going to put in a p tag that will contain the address. I will also add another p tag inside which has the opening times, which I will render in bold. So if I put the strong tag and opening times with a colon, and then after that add a space and then render out the times. So I will have the name, the address, and the times being passed down. If I go onto my API console, I also get the click and collect and delivery. So if I pass them down also, click and collect and the delivery, this will render on the bottom row, and that will be whether this store does delivery or click and collect. I would leave the latitude and longitude for now. That will be done with the map component. So what I need to do now is go back to my location page. So what I want to do is render out this array here, and I want to map through each object within the array and print out a store card component, and each store card component will pass down the props containing the address, click and collect, delivery, name and times on there. So the way I would do that within my search results container is I would have curly braces to define that this is going to be a JavaScript method being called. So my store result I will get, and then what I'm going to do is dot map through this. Before I do map this, I'm going to add optional chaining in here, which means if the store results are valid and they are there, then we want to map through. So for each result or store in this case, this could be anything. So we're declaring that once we map over store results for each store that we have, I want to return, so I can implicitly return. So if I use the parentheses, which are just normal brackets, that would automatically return something for me. So for each store, I want to return the store card. But in the store card, I want to pass down these props, which I've also defined in here. So if I just copy them across into my locations, in my store card, paste them in like so. I also need to define what the name is going to be. So in this case, it's going to be the store dot name. So store dot name like so. Same with the address. So if I just copy this, this would be the address. The times would be store dot times. Click and collect, which would equal store dot click and collect, and the delivery, which would equal store dot delivery like so. And we need to remove the comma from there. But what I also want is a unique identifier to make sure that for each store that I map, they are unique, and the only unique identifier we have is the ID. So what I'm going to give is an ID as a key. So I'm going to pass down the key, which is equal to store.id, which is the unique identifier in this case. And I also want to pass down the ID as well, which is equal to store.id also, ID, like so. So now if I save, I should have rendered on the page each store card. So what I need to do now is in my store card index, I need to define the top row, which is coming from the styles, like so. So now if I save, I should have all 10 of my stores mapped on the page, like so. Okay, so on the top row, we have a name, the address, the opening times. So now we have all the stores, the addresses, the names, and the opening times on our page. In the next video, we're going to style the store cards and add extra functionality so that we have the delivery and click and collect rendered if the prop contains the delivery as true and the click and collect as true.